Hello there and welcome. I'm going to take you on a hike today across the Vogtland Panorama Trail. Today I'm going to go on a hike and I'm taking you with me along the Vogtland Panorama Trail in central Germany. That's quite a long word, I know. It's just a very scenic hike that goes in a loop, a very long loop. You can do it over multiple days. The first stretch basically is about 23 kilometers, so that's like 7 to 8 hours of walking, and I'm not super fit, so I'm just going to do parts of it and I'm going to show you along. And I'm also covering a couple of cities such as Plauen and Saxony, or a couple of outdoor museums, also indoor museums, and scenic places as well as iconic sites like this bridge I'm standing underneath. So it was in 1841 that the idea for this bridge were officially announced, and they sent a competition out so architects would submit their ideas. Back then it was a major feat. They wanted to build a new train line all the way from Leipzig to Nuremberg, crossing Plauen and Hof. So they also needed to cross this valley. So they had different kinds of concepts, basically a giant bridge on stilts, and there were ideas for having a prison in the little columns right here because they wanted to use the space, but none of that worked. They built the different kind of archways to really stabilize the bridge and also cover the little river that flows in here. It looks like not much today, but the little trickle during very rainy times, especially in autumn and winter, it can become a major river that also floods the region around here, so they needed to take that into account. And the bridge, as it was built back then, because they finished it in 1851, still is basically the same as it was back then. So nothing much changed. It lasted the ages. It's very sturdy, it's very good, and there's still a train going up there. Let's go check it out from a different angle, shall we? Another thing that lasted the ages with the Grieg here in Saxony is its status as the world's largest bridge made from bricks. That's a mouthful, but it's still true. It's a massive bridge. Nobody else has built a larger, wider, higher bridge made from bricks. They even had bridge making facilities right below the bridge to not have to have transported them in such a long way in fashion. And a very iconic site around the area, which is called the Vogtland, so it's the region of the Vogtland here in Germany, are bricks. There's a lot of houses made from bricks, so that's a very typical feature. And you will see another bridge just up ahead along the Vogtland Panorama Trail here, and it's a sister bridge, and I'm going to show you in a bit. You might know that Germans love to hike, and as such we have a network of hiking trails. They're perfectly marked, they're checked regularly, and there's signs everywhere in case you get lost or unsure. So for the Vogtland Panorama Wanderweg, you look out for the VPW or this sign, which is also marked on trees. So let's go. There's a little bit of heath down here and blueberries up here, but there are lots in the forest around. But if you ever pick them, right now the season's over, so I cannot, but if you ever do, make sure to rinse them before eating because of worms. Right now I am at the Zorgbruch, which is a small ruin. Over there is a bigger ruin. You can't actually go inside, but you can look inside and go a little bit around. Down there is the river, and I'm pretty close to the city of Grieg now, so let's pick up the pace because the sky is rumbling and I don't want to get caught in the forest in the rain and thunder. That's really dangerous. Like I promised, this is the world's second biggest bridge made from bricks. It's the Elstertalbrücke and it has 12 million bricks in it. Imagine that. And the other one, which I showed you earlier, the Goldstalbrücke, had 26 million bricks. Let's check it out. One cool thing that you can do when you're in the Vogtland is you can actually go inside the second largest brick bridge in the world. And well, it's not technically inside, but you can go all the way in the middle, right by it. Above there's a train, below there's you, and you can walk this distance. It's pretty cool. Here's a not so fun fact about this bridge. It was supposed to be completely destroyed by the Nazis because they didn't want the Russians to invade through this bridge. So they destroyed one of the main pillars, but luckily most of the bridge was still intact, so they rebuilt it afterwards. As you can see now, which is a good thing because there's 100 trains every day coming through here and you can feel the vibrations when you're standing here. Alright, new day, new hike along the Vogtland Panorama Trail in Saxony, Germany, a famous hiking trail. And I've taken the train from Plauen to Bad Brambach because it's a long hike and I wanted to start the day fresh because I have a 2-hour hike ahead of me from Bad Brambach to the Freilichtmuseum Land Wüst, which is an open-air outdoor museum. I'm going to show you around, of course, and from there I'm going to go all the way to Markneukirchen, which is a small town, but it's very important because it has a musical instrument museum. The area here in the Vogtland in Germany is very well known for its musical instruments, for its musical heritage, and basically every village and town and little community has its own band or orchestra or choir because everybody's super musical. It's a very important tradition. And at the museum I'm going to learn more about how musical instruments are made. There's lots of workshops in the area if you're keen, if you want to learn more. But enough of the talking, let's go hiking. By the way, if you don't feel like hiking for 20 kilometers straight and you want to do some sightseeing here in the Vogtland area of Germany, I recommend just splitting up the trip and doing some sightseeing. For instance, I spent the night at the Talsperre Pool, which is a dammed lake full of activities. People love coming here in the summer. There's a climbing parkour, there's boats, you can just do some water sports, you can do some hiking, and it's easy to get to nearby cities as well. And then there's the city of Sura, which has a very, very special cave, which was discovered by accident over 100 years ago. And it has beautifully maintained stalactites, stalagmites, there's some lakes, there's a beautiful mini laser show when you go on a tour there, and a little bit higher up, just like a 15-minute walk, is a Dutch windmill, which is very unique to Germany because our windmills are different. This one has a fully rotating top, and also visit the city of Plauen, which is very famous for its industrial age. It was all the way around 1900. Now there's a museum. It's really, really pretty. There's a little stream running through it, old churches. Yeah, and you can do that, for instance. And if you want to find out more on that, just check out my blog with the itinerary and more details of where to go, when to go, and all the travel tips you could need for a hike along the Vogtland Panorama Trail in Germany. Not sure if you can see it, but behind me there's some signs for little snacks and kiosks on the way, because basically you're walking a nature trail here in Saxony, so there's no supermarkets along the way typically, because you're going through forests and over mountains and across country roads. So occasionally, if you do see a hut, you can rest in it, and then there's occasionally a little restaurant somewhere along the way. So if you didn't pack enough snacks, this is usually your chance, so don't wait for the next one to show up. If all else fails and you're at a country road, you can try hitchhiking to get to your destination if you're really tired or if the weather sucks. So that's just a little hiking tip right there. Alright, now I'm at the Outdoor Museum Landwist here in the Vogtland, and you can see life from the late 18th century to the 20th century of countryside farmers, because this is where they preserve the heritage. Most of this lifestyle has been, well, dead and gone because, you know, times change. So here you can see traditional clothes and ways of life, what they ate, what they worked with every day, how life was like working on farms day in and day out. And they preserved this heritage by gathering buildings. Some of them have actually been moved here and expanding it constantly. This area now spans 2.5 hectares, which is quite big because it only started with one small house. Just behind me you can see the tools and devices with which the farmers used to plow the fields, because they couldn't upgrade them. They were made from wood for a couple of centuries until 1918, when they finally upgraded to more industrial and more advanced technologies, which is when the lifestyle here changed dramatically. I just found out about another lifestyle and job that became redundant at the beginning of the 20th century, namely that of the sandman and sandwoman, because there was an actual job title. There were people who were mostly super poor or outcasts that had to collect sand, and they were offering it to everyone for various purposes, such as cleaning clothes, scrubbing floors, perching ghosts, because you know, throw sand at them and stuff. Yeah, and they usually were roaming and active in areas where there was sand because of all the mountains and the mines that were going on. There was a lot of natural sand. Anyway, so when washing detergents were invented in the 20th century, they no longer had a job. So they no longer exist, basically, but their name still does. And before I head on further to the Music Instrument Museum, I'm just gonna replenish my energy and have a little snack, as you do in Germany along hiking trails, which is sausage and potato salad. Yum. Remember, when you bring your own food and drink, which you should because it's a long way and you need the energy and the water, take out all the trash with you. You need to pack a bag or something and take it with you, yes, even an apple cone, because you don't want to litter in nature. It's not been here, so take it with you. We now interrupt the program for a very special announcement. These are plop berries. behold. I finally made it, my last stop, the Musical Instrument Museum here in Neumarkirchen, and I'm gonna check it out, but it looks like there's a children's festival inside, so I'm not sure how much I can see, but let's go. And that was my vlog about me hiking the Vogtland Panorama Trail in Saxony, Germany. I hope you liked it. I hope you got something from it. I hope you saw how beautiful it is and how much hiking there is involved. So you really should try it if you love nature, if you love the outdoors. This is a place to be. This is something to do. And you can do a lot of sightseeing, branching off into different towns and cities, watching the caves and beautiful museums. Check it out. Also check it out on my blog. There's much more information on it. So click through, like and subscribe and enable notification, all of that. See you around. Bye.